Welcome to Creative Genius Labs. I'm your host, Zane Wild. Today, on Creative Genius Labs. Ever feel like your greatest weakness is actually your hidden superpower? Today, we dissect Paul McCartney's journey from crippling loss and feeling like an outsider to becoming a world-renowned icon, revealing how embracing your unique weirdness can unlock your own creative genius and how you can use his story to find the music inside yourself. The guitar sits untouched in the corner of a Scottish farmhouse, gathering dust like a forgotten memory. Paul McCartney stares through the window, his unshaven face reflecting in the glass, mixing with the endless grey beyond. The year is 1971, and the man who once commanded the attention of millions can barely hold his own gaze. Empty bottles scatter the floor around him like fallen soldiers, testament to battles fought alone. The silence is deafening, broken only by occasional bleats of distant sheep that echo across the barren landscape. You might wonder how a creative force so powerful could be reduced to this shell of himself. More importantly, you might recognize something of yourself in this moment of absolute creative drought. Rewind 15 years. A 14-year-old Paul sits in his dimly lit Liverpool bedroom, fingers tentatively finding their way across guitar strings. His mother Mary's recent death from breast cancer has left a void no child should have to navigate. But in this moment of deepest grief, something extraordinary happens. His fingers begin to move with purpose, and the first notes of "I Lost My Little Girl" emerge from the darkness. This is where it begins, not with triumph, but with tragedy, not with mastery, but with fumbling attempts to make sense of an insensible world. You see, greatness rarely announces itself with fanfare. It whispers first in moments of deepest vulnerability. The streets of Liverpool pulse with possibility. Through grainy memories, you can almost smell the damp wood of the Cavern Club, feel the worn frets under calloused fingers. Young Paul stands apart, marked as different by his obsession with music. Then comes John Lennon. Their meeting is electric, two outsiders recognizing something of themselves in each other. It's the kind of statement that makes no sense to the outside world, but to kindred spirits, it's everything. Success arrives like a tidal wave. The Beatles explode onto the global stage, and suddenly those endless hours of practice make sense. But success carries its own weight. Watch closely as the joy of creation begins to strain under the pressure of expectation. Studio sessions at Abbey Road become pressure cookers of creativity and conflict. The harmonious sound they produce increasingly contrasts with the discord brewing beneath the surface. You can see it in their faces, in the subtle shifts of body language, in the way simple disagreements begin to carry the weight of deeper divides. Paul's perfectionism, once an asset, becomes a source of tension. The very traits that drove their success now threaten to tear them apart. The end comes not with a bang, but with 1,000 tiny fractures. Legal battles, creative differences, and the weight of being bigger than Jesus finally shatter the greatest band in history. Paul retreats to his Scottish farm, and we return to that man staring through the window, lost in the vastness of his own silence. But here's what you might not realize. This moment of absolute bottom is also the seed of rebirth. Sometimes you have to lose everything to remember who you truly are. If you're enjoying Creative Genius Labs, please like, subscribe, and scan the QR code for our free 7-day email course, The Master Creators Challenge. Unlock hacks that make Vinci, Banksy, and Lady Gaga creative giants. Now, back to the episode. Yet in this admission lies a profound truth. The path forward isn't about recapturing past glory. It's about finding the courage to begin again, even when the world expects you to fail. Watch as Paul picks up that dusty guitar. His fingers remember what his mind has forgotten. The music wasn't gone, it was waiting. Like your own gifts, sometimes they need silence to speak their truth. Linda becomes his anchor, his collaborator, his reason to believe. Together they form wings, and something remarkable happens. The pressure to be Paul McCartney of the Beatles begins to fade. In its place comes the freedom to experiment, to fail, to grow. This isn't just about music anymore. It's about rediscovering joy in the process itself, about remembering that creativity isn't a destination, but a journey. You might recognize this in your own life, those moments when letting go of expectations allows something new to emerge. Years later, tragedy strikes again. Linda's death from breast cancer in 1998 echoes the loss of his mother decades before. But this time, Paul faces grief differently. The music doesn't stop. Instead, it deepens, enriched by experience and loss. This is perhaps the most powerful lesson of Paul's journey. Pain doesn't have to break us. It can break us open, making room for something greater than ourselves. Today, Paul McCartney continues to perform well into his 80s. But the real story isn't about longevity. It's about transformation. About how a teenage boy's grief became a song, how failure became a doorway to reinvention, how loss became a catalyst for growth. Think about your own creative voice, the one you might have silenced or forgotten. That gift you set aside because life got too busy, too hard, too real. Paul's story isn't just about music. It's about the courage to keep beginning again, to transform pain into purpose, to let your unique voice speak, even when the world seems silent. Remember, the music never really leaves. Sometimes it just needs a different way to be heard. Your gift, whether it's music, writing, teaching, lighting, or creating in any form, is waiting for you to pick it up again. Not to recreate what was, but to discover what could be. The question isn't whether you have a gift to share. The question is, are you ready to let your silence speak? On the next episode of Creative Genius Labs, Paul McCartney's journey reveals how personal pain can fuel artistic innovation, a theme that resonates deeply within our series on experimental musicians. But what happens when that innovation clashes with the expectations of the world, when the very essence of your being is challenged by societal barriers? This week, we continue to explore the lives of sound innovators with a story of a man whose music defied genre, whose life was a rebellion against the status quo. Imagine a world where every note you play is a statement, where your art is both a refuge and a battleground. What if I told you that the pursuit of creative freedom came at a great cost, that the price of innovation was a constant struggle against personal demons and racial injustice? Please like, subscribe, and scan the QR code, or follow the pinned link to get our free 7-day email course, The Master Creators Challenge. 7 days, 7 creative legends. Unlock your inner creative genius using the secret tactics of history's most revolutionary artists. Click the video that just popped up to watch the next one in this series. Or for episode summaries, behind-the-scenes info, and more, go to daily8.com/CGL. Thanks for watching.